ounces. First 12 ounces, yeah. First 12 ounces. First 12 ounces, yeah. Y'all better listen up. This sports talking tough. So if you got a cup, go on and raise it up. I'll raise one with you as we talk about the sports. It's raining stats and rumors. Let us give you the report. This is first 12 ounces. First 12 ounces, yeah. First 12 ounces. First 12 ounces, yeah.
What is up? And welcome back, everybody, for another episode, First 12 Ounces. And hey, what a hell of a week. I know Texas needs it. We're going into a bye week. These two guys had a bye week this past week, so they're good on it, but Texas needs a bye week to get healthy. But let's get into it. Let's start it off with the leadoff game of the day. And that's Texas Vandy. Texas wins 34-31. Phenomenal game by Arch. He kind of stepped up and shut up the critics a little bit. The defense played outstanding for the first three quarters. Everybody kind of stepped up for this Texas team. I mean, Wingo started off the game with a 75-yard or 76-yard touchdown pass on the first play of the game. He finished the game with 2 receptions for 89 yards and a touchdown. He had another screen. He went to stiff arm a defender and dislocated his thumb. And then got set for the rest of the game. Sark said if it was a crucial moment where they think they needed him, that he would have played. He wanted to get back in, but he was like, you know what, it is what it is. You're gonna sit. And then I mean, Arch 25 of 33, 328 yards, 3 touchdowns. He hit Baxter for a touchdown. He hit Mosley for a touchdown, and of course Wingo with a touchdown. I mean, just look, everything was kind of on point. He was in rhythm. Everything looked good. It looked like, and I told Cole this, it looked like Sark went back to his old bag that he had last year. It was a lot of bubble screens, a lot of things across the middle, just quick passes, getting them out there, getting the ball to your athletes as soon as possible. And Wisner had 75 yards and a touchdown. He was still just, this guy is outstanding, no matter what he does. The stats don't jump out and see it, but when the ball's in his hand, he's so elusive and he makes people miss, and he's a dog. And what can't we say about this Texas defense? I mean, holy shit. Since the play started in the SEC, Colin Simmons has had, 6.5 sacks, 8 tackles for a loss, 2 forced fumbles, a fumble recovery, a pass block down, and 24 total tackles. The kid is, everybody was kind of wondering where he was, and he fucking stood up again. And this is the third time in 4 weeks that he's won defensive player of the week for the SEC. It's co-defensive player, but it's the third 3 out of 4 weeks. Yeah. This is also 4 weeks in a row that Texas has had a defensive lineman win defensive lineman of the week for the SEC, or co-defensive lineman of the week for the SEC. And hey, look out. Texas has got somebody on the offensive side for player of the week in Arch Manning. Like, hello, here we go. We can't talk about the game. We have to mention the fourth quarter kind of meltdown by the defense. Pavia comes in and throws for 100 yards on one drive, and then just kind of lights up the defense for a good bit. Sark touched on that today in his press conference, and he said, "Hey, this is not an excuse, but simple facts are we didn't have a starting defensive back on the field or a starting safety. What's his name?
Why?
McDonald got a concussion. He got pulled out of the game, and then we had 2 backup cornerbacks in that just kind of weren't getting it done. But then one of the freshmen that stepped up in Cade Phillips allowed 0 receptions the entire time he was in the game, so he kind of stepped up and did his part. But hey, it came out of the half. It was 10-0 in the third quarter. They didn't do anything offensive wise, and in the fourth quarter they kind of just lit it up. So I mean, kind of got to tip your hat to them getting away with some plays that they needed. They had some big plays, that were big busted coverage plays. One on a wide open touchdown to Stowers, and then the other one on Diego Pavia running it in for 25 yards and being untouched. I'm not going to lean on it. I know Sark did say in his press conference he turned in some plays to be reviewed by the SEC as far as penalties and whatnot. One being the pass interference push on Mosley on a touchdown that was reversed into incompletion, which it wasn't incompletion because the ball hit the ground. But he was saying that there was a pass interference before that. There was an offensive offsides call when the defender, or offensive false start call when the defender crossed the line and the offensive lineman touched him. They call it on the offense and not the defense. So he turned that one in. And I think the last one was, the 2-point conversion. What are y'all's thoughts on it? I didn't think he got in.
No,
Clearly, I didn't
he
think he got
absolutely get in. Are you done talking? Because
in.
I don't want to go through my whole. I don't want, well, I'm asking because I don't want to go through my whole take. If you're serious, I don't want to go through my whole take if you're not done. The answer to
No,
your question is I do not think he got in. I don't think there's any way he got in.
No, I answer that. I don't think he got in. I think it was closer than I think y'all two are saying. Like, I don't think he got in though, but I do think it was close.
oh yeah, no, I absolutely,
Well,
I absolutely,
yeah, dickwad. It was obviously
I
close.
think I didn't hate the call. Like, the call didn't make me go like that's egregiously bad. I was like, okay, I can see how you called it. I can see how you called it there.
Even after review.
Yeah, the initial view on the review was pathetic, and they finally addressed it on the TV. They were like, well, the pylon camera's not even with the pylon, and I sent that in the group text. I was like, this thing is comically not lined up. This thing is a foot behind it.
Yeah,
yeah,
I didn't think he got in. I mean, I'm gonna probably just die on this hill. Like I'm ready to die on this hill.
yeah. I didn't think he got in either. And then the other thing that came out of this game, and then I'll let y'all get y'all's takes on it. And I told kind of Cole on this. I've been a Pavia guy since last year, but just the clips and the fucking the reactions and the talk of his bro. I can't stand the kid now. Like I can't.
Welcome to being enlightened, brother. Welcome to
Like
what me and Cole have been trying to tell you for a fucking year. This is
yeah,
every week, dude. You just got to see it. This is every
you're
week.
absolutely like you're a 5'7" quarterback that got shut down for the majority of the game. And
That's
anytime you had pressure, you had to back up into the pocket. And the issue there was you're so short you can't see over the pocket. So you had to run around to try to make shit happen. And when you did that, you got sacked. Texas also had a high of 6 sacks in the game, the most sacks that Vanderbilt allowed all year. We got something from some stats from Chauncey. Let's see what he said. Vandy's Texas defense, second most points given up, and the third most yards given up, and second most TDs given up. Okay, all right,
I think that would make sense because I mean Vandy's probably the best team y'all played, right? I think
yeah,
we'd all agree.
yeah,
Well,
absolutely. Well, Ohio State,
Yeah,
but since then, yeah,
game. This is a weird
yeah,
game.
absolutely.
Um,
And we'll go ahead and go with what you guys got on it now.
Yeah, no. So, okay, first of all, a few things. And I lost my train of thought because I got so excited to talk shit about Diego Pavia. Holy shit! Nothing's better. Nothing's better than watching him suck. I mean, there's no way around it. Nothing's better than it. And look, I know he ended up like making it close and stuff. And look, I'll just go ahead and get on top of this one. I think if they get that onside kick, I think y'all in trouble. I think you're at least going overtime because they would have been on like the 48 going in. So you're talking. I think they have one timeout. I mean, you're talking. They need like 15 yards to really have maybe 20 yards to have a good field goal shot. But nonetheless, it didn't happen, which is great for everyone in this podcast because none of us like Diego Pavia now, including Chauncey. I'm just gonna speak for him because he can't talk. So first thing, yeah, Trey Wisner is I think he's the best player on Texas's roster. I think he's an incredible football player. I think he sees the field really well. Very, very, very athletic guy, but also like sneaky strong. Bounces off of tackles, kind of does whatever he wants and when he needs to do it. Statistically, he'll never light up the stat sheet. I don't think just because y'all have such a dynamic offense. There's so many people touching the ball. But I think in some situations down the stretch when you're going to need a guy to step up, I think he's going to be that guy. Baxter did look really good, I thought. I don't know what he finished with statistically. However, I know that he looked good, which to me, I mean, when you have multiple guys touching the ball, as long as they're all looking good, that's really what matters. Stark kind of went back to that Bama playbook that I used to see. Looked like he kind of like I don't mean this in like a negative way, but kind of like dumbed it down, right? Like let's not do long plays. Let's not and I don't mean long like length. I mean long developing plays that where you need 3.5, 4.5 seconds in the pocket to make the play happen. Receiver screens worked great, obviously. Started off the game with 175 yards. That's the kind of offense that I think if Texas runs, they're a scary team because there's athletes all over the field. Obviously, Arch can get it out quick. It kind of helps the O-line out a lot, which I know has been a struggling point for y'all. So yeah, man, I was impressed. I love to watch Diego Pavia be in hell. It's the greatest thing in the world. I think he's the cockiest dude alive that's just extremely average. Let's just be honest. Like, yeah, he's had moments where he's like, wow, like this dude's actually a good football player. Then he has moments where you're like, this dude's pretty average. So good win for Texas. Good for Archer's confidence going down the stretch, obviously. You got two big ones coming up with Georgia and A&M. The good news for y'all is I think Georgia's talking about making it a blackout game, which they are notoriously bad at winning those. So, like, I honestly think right now I should just take the mortgage and put it on Texas right
Would
this
agree.
second. So, Buddha, I'll let you go ahead and rock it.
The
Hey,
first thing
Buddha, Buddha,
we
hold
got
on
to
one
stop
second,
having
bro.
we got to stop having
Sorry.
color games in college football. I don't know when you're going to learn. Like, we got to stop doing these games where, like, we're picking a color and we're doing that. Insert color out. We don't need whiteouts. We don't need midnight mode from Tennessee. Georgia doesn't need to have a blackout. LSU doesn't need to have a gold game. Let's just play fucking football and call it. Like, all of these color outs are a problem, and every team stinks every time they do them. They always stink. So I'm done. I'm officially out on color outs. I'm done with them. I don't want any more of them. You go color out, you stink. You're going to lose that game. That's how I feel about it. But I want to talk. The onside kick felt like it was on the ground for 6.5 years.
It's still on the
Watching
ground.
it on TV, it was like, it felt like that ball was on the ground. It feels like it might still be on the ground. It's unreal. But
Yeah.
I thought Texas looked like the Texas we thought we were going to get Texas out of Texas. Like, that's what I got out of this game was like watching it. I think we said it in one of the lives. I know we were texting about it. It was like, this is the Texas I thought was going to show up. Now, me and Pete talked about this one live after the game. Vandy's a really good team. I think Vandy's really good. Like, I thought it was a really good win when Bama beat them. I think it's a really good win with Texas. Pavia's a lot of shit, but he kind of got a track right. He's gonna get his at a time. So, like, I don't have an
He's a
issue.
gambler.
Right, like, he's gonna get his. And I agree with Cole. If they would have got the onside kick, I do think that game gets dicey. They didn't. Whatever. Doesn't matter. Hindsight's 20. But who cares? I thought Texas looked really good. I agree. I thought Sark kind of dumbed the offense down, but in a good way. Like, he just went like, let's just, like, he simplified it to the fact of, like, we have elite weapons. Why am I doing all this? Arch, just throw it to the elite weapon and let shit happen. And then also, he just figured out early, Vandy's bad out wide. They ran outside zone all day, bubble screens, and they just torched them on the just to the boundaries. And Vandy had no prayer. Outside of the Eli, I thought the game got flipped on its head a little bit. Where this thing even got interesting was of the blown coverage, where Eli Stowers catches the 75-yarder. But even then, like, I thought the Texas did one thing I hate. I don't like prevent defense, and I don't think they went traditional prevent, but they went real soft.
Yeah, very
I've never
soft.
seen prevent really work. Now, I am a personal victim of prevent defense, which we can talk about later on. I hate prevent defense. It's a pain point for me, PTSD. But Texas looks like they look like the team we thought they were going to be. And I think they're dangerous down the stretch here. And I know Casey Smith was like, I'm starting to get a little nervous. I think you should, because I think
She
this
should be.
get it going now.
She should be nervous because A&M, let's face it, A&M hasn't played anybody all year. Their toughest game they played all year was Notre Dame. That's it. Other than that, they played cupcake fucking defenses all year. That's just simple facts. They played
Look,
fucking no one.
you
That's
play
just
Brian
facts.
Kelly, dude. Look, you play Brian Kelly. That's a nobody. I couldn't agree more.
Like literally every one of their they had close. And me and Billy Lucci got into it last night or Saturday night on Twitter when he was like, "Oh, Texas was a few plays away from losing these last 3 games." I said, "Yeah, there was 3 games. Y'all were a few plays away from losing throughout the season too. Pump your fucking brakes. Y'all haven't faced a defense like us. Calm down. Don't act like you're not worried." He's like, "No one's saying I'm concerned. I've always said this game is going to be big. So, I'll give you that." No, you should be concerned because Marcel Reed is going to go back to the way he played last year when he's got defenders in his face, and he's going to be like, "I don't know how to throw the ball." Oh, and hopefully Johnny Manziel's bitch ass shows up and is on the sideline for that game because he couldn't show up for his boy Pavia this week. What a coward! What a
No,
coward!
Mom was there, by the way.
What a coward! Yeah,
Hey,
I'm sure. I'm sure Theo Vaughn was there too because that's who's piping his mom. But anyways,
hey, first of all, before we go any further, good for Theo. We're giving credit where it's due. Good for Theo.
Also, what I wanted to touch on real quick, and Chauncey said it in the chat as well. another big difference that happened is Sark changed up the offensive line. So before this game, Texas gave up. This is how many pressures Texas gave up in SEC play: 36 to Florida, 18 to OU, 23 to Kentucky, 26 to Missouri. What's y'all's guess the number against Vandy?
Wait 1 second.
Well,
Six.
I saw it.
he looked at Chauncey's
Well,
message.
I saw it. I saw the
I mean, you
stat
bet.
from it.
Yeah, he gave up 6 pressures. So hey, the shakeup of the offensive line helped out good too. Because I mean, hey, you got more protection. The other thing that stood out to me was this was the first pregame where you saw Arch come in with like a little bit of a swagger that you've seen him have. From the get go. College game day, put the camera on him and he pump faked the ball like he was going to throw it at it, and they acknowledged that and laughed at it. Before the game starts kicking off, somebody lets him know that the camera's behind him. He turns around and says, "We're back in the fucking crib," and then he just had a chip on his shoulder.
Fine.
That's what you want.
Fine.
That's what you want from your quarterback, to have that chip on his shoulder going out there and playing. But outside of that, man, I was super impressed. I loved it. Here's a question that I'll ask y'all that they asked Sark as his last question of the press conference this morning. And the reason I ask is because Texas is possibly in the position to be in that team. Does a 9-3 SEC team make the playoff?
No.
Not just saying it's Texas. They're so the top heavy of the SEC is so stacked.
No.
Unless that third loss is in the conference championship, then the answer is no.
Well, then
We
they
went
would be
through
10-2.
We went through this last year with Bama, South Carolina, Ole Miss. They were all 9-3. Bama had an incredible resume, so let's not even go down that road. And they wouldn't let them in. I think there's no chance they do it because I don't think they're gonna go back on what they did last year. I think they're trying to keep it consistent. Now, if that third loss is in the conference championship, then I think that completely changes the conversation.
Would agree. But
if
no,
it's three regular season losses, no matter who they are, I think you're out.
Yeah, a regular season 9-3 does not get in unless there's total chaos and there's no 10 teams to replace them. But no, I don't think a 9-3 team gets in from the SEC. I don't think a 9-3 team gets in anywhere unless they're a conference champ.
They would put in one of these losers from the ACC that's 10-2 in over a 9-3 SEC team.
Yeah, and look, we're already heading down the road where like that selection Sunday is going to be an absolute shit show, regardless if it's 9-3. Because me and Pete talked about this. I think there's a real world where there's a 10-2 team that gets left that gets to play in the Cheez-It Bowl or whatever the Capital One, right?
Not from the SEC, no chance.
Well,
So
me and Pete kind of did the math. There's a chance you're gonna have 3 or 4 sitting there at 10-2.
I think they all get in. To be honest with you.
I don't know. I don't know how. Chauncey just asked it in the chat too, and it is a good point. If you go 9-3 and you have 3 top 10 wins over a team that doesn't have the same resume, do we still get left out?
I don't think it's going to matter to them. I genuinely don't. Now, I mean, like now we're kind of getting to like a huge what if, right? Because like now we're talking about a team having 3 top 10 wins plus 3 losses. Like, who are these losses to now? Like, are these all ranked losses? Because now you're talking about a team that's played 6+ ranked teams, 3 of them finishing top 10. Chauncey said something else. I'm pulling it up.
Yeah,
Bama,
he said
we're only a top 10 win.
Yeah, so last year Bama had 1 top 10 win with 3 losses. Could that have been a factor while they were left out, or
I think
we don't know? Honestly, we don't know how they're viewing it. Like we don't know how they're viewing it. So it's good because there's going to be the SEC is so top heavy. There's going to be some teams that are sitting on the outside pissed off.
Bama also had, I think, 3, maybe 4 top 25 wins. So like it's not like Bama only had the 1 top 10 win. Like there was plenty of argument there. Plus they talk strength of schedule. We did this last year. Like I'm not gonna go back down the rabbit hole. But my point though is that like I think they made the statement last year that a 9-3 team is not gonna make it in over a 10-2 team, no matter how different the schedule is. Gotcha. I think they made that stance pretty clear.
Gotcha. Before we move on to everything else that's going on, let's touch on Notre Dame a little bit, just because Bo was unable to make it with us. I think from what I understand, it was a close game. But what pisses me off is Jeremiah Love is getting wasted at Notre Dame. He needs more of a team around him. I would love to have a Jeremiah Love on my team.
Sure.
I think all 3 of us would, because it would completely change the offense. Not saying that Notre Dame isn't good around them, but my God, this kid's doing numbers, and it's like, fuck, if he had better teammates around him, this dude could be making a huge run. Not only that, his name in the Heisman would be way up there too, and it's not. Um, Still the front runners, Ty Simpson for being a part of the Simpsons TV show that's the longest running show on Fox. But other than that, I don't know what he's done. I was trying to get Cole again. I was trying to get something out of Cole there. I knew he wasn't gonna take the bait though.
Yeah, no, I mean, I didn't watch any of the Notre Dame game. I mean, Notre Dame's going to do what they do. They're going to finish the year 10-2 with two tough games that they lost both of them, and they're going to walk in the playoffs because they don't play a conference championship. I mean, we've all seen this. Let's not act like we love Bo, obviously, but let's not act like this isn't what we expected. Like, they lost their two toughest games. They're probably going to waltz into the playoffs.
Yeah.
That's what it is.
They definitely will. Notre Dame is one of the best, talk about coaching. I think it's one of, the best jobs in the country with a new 12-team play. Because you can lose your two toughest games and then be 10-2, and you'll be in the playoff every single year. I don't know what Chauncey just said, but I don't care what happens. If Notre Dame's 10-2, they're in the playoff. They're not going to leave a 10-2 out of the playoff, right? And Jeremiah Love, like you say, they're wasting him. He's probably going to finish his career as a two-time playoff participant, national championship participant. And I think he might sneak into this Heisman thing. A Heisman in years that end in 5, it's only ever been a running back. Every time it's a multiple of 5, it's a running back. So
he's the only running back that's actually putting up the numbers to do it though. Chauncey said even with Miami sliding like the way they are, they still sliding.
Yeah, I mean, I think I agree with Boot. I think if Notre Dame finishes 10-2, I just don't see them leaving them out. I mean, I think, and look again, we're basing this all off of last year. Well, that's all we can base this off of. Do I think they should be in? Absolutely not. I don't think they should be in at all. I think they should take strength of wins, quality wins, losses, all that. I think should be heavier weighted than just the fact that they have one less loss. Because I think that's kind of what they did last year. No, I'm not just talking about Bama. I'm talking about anybody really. They put Ole Miss in last year. Yeah, I'm pissed because it wasn't Bama, but at least they took an SEC team because of all the reasons I just named. Notre Dame's gonna finish 2, and I think they're gonna be in the playoff. And I don't think we have any reason to think that won't happen based on what we saw last year.
Yeah, and they were the national runner-up last year, so it's not like this is a one-off deal. I think that, and as much as you say last doesn't play a factor, it absolutely plays a factor in their brains because it's human beings making this decision.
Yeah, absolutely. Before we move on to Cole's next take, because I know he's ready to jump on it. Here's a last Texas question for y'all because it pisses me off to no end. Do y'all agree with OU being ranked ahead of Texas?
I think rankings are stupid.
This ranking only matters for another 24 hours, and then it could matter less.
No, I don't. I mean, because Texas has a head-to-head. You both have 2 losses. I don't really see. I mean, yeah, you could. I guess you could make the argument against inferior competition, OU has looked better than Texas against inferior competition. You could probably make that argument. I haven't watched every OU game. I've watched way more Texas, but do I think that's any way to rank teams? No, I don't. If I'm making the rankings, I'd have Texas above them. But that's just me.
Yeah, well, I think it's one of those where you go if they look better against inferior opponents, well, if only we could see how they looked when they played each other. If only
I know
exactly. That's
right. If only we knew what these two teams would look like on the same field, on a neutral site field. If only we could see what they looked like in a neutral location. No, I think it's stupid. But I think the whole AP is stupid, right?
Yeah.
The whole thing doesn't make any sense.
Well, the coaches poll put them ahead of them too.
I think at the end of the day, and this is what I told Pete on the phone, I think the CFP rankings are going to come out. I think Texas will be ahead of OU.
I would agree. Now look, and I think Texas is getting dinged real bad because of this Florida loss. I know Florida's record's bad. That's a really good roster. They're really talented.
Yeah.
Go ask Kirby Smart if he thinks that's a bad team. If he thinks that's a team that may not make a bowl game. He's going to be like, no, that's a really good fucking team. They got NFL dudes on every level of that team. The Florida record's bad, and Texas is getting dinged for I think it's stupid. I think the eyeballs would go no, that's a really good team, and Texas played really bad that day. But outside of that, they lost by a touchdown to the team that everybody's acting like is unbeatable in Ohio State. and then they pummeled OU. They dog walked them. I know the score was what 23-6 was the final, whatever it was.
Yeah.
They kind of dog walked. They handled that game no problem. No, I think it's stupid, but again, it means nothing in 24 hours.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Absolutely. And honestly, before I give it to you, Cole, Kirby Smart only wins that game because of the referees. That's the honest to God truth. He's been bailed out by the referees more than anything else. This is the third game this year. If these referees change 2 weeks from today, I will fucking riot. But we'll talk on that when we get to it. Cole, you got something you want to talk on?
So look, Saturday night, I went to bed, had a great buzz. It was a phenomenal day. Got to drink with the homies, watched football all day, and I didn't do my due diligence. I didn't check the Auburn score when I went to bed. But boy, I woke up and I saw the score that they lost to Kentucky, 10-3. I said to myself, Lord, on this Sunday, would you just fire Hugh Freeze? Let's just get rid of him. Let's just make Auburn fans just hate their lives a little more. And there he went. Freeze warning, right? Freeze warning. Auburn's got this great roster, right? Man, you talk about a fan base that is just dumb. They're out there saying that Auburn's job is the most desirable job in college football right now. That's what their fan base is trying to scream from the rafters. Brother, I'm going to just go ahead and tell you it ain't. It ain't the most desirable in just the SEC. It's not even, I think it's the worst in the SEC right now. To be quite honest with you, Florida and LSU job are both higher than Auburn. And I would argue that Arkansas is a way more desirable head coaching job because guess what? You're probably going to be a coach that's taking a step up. And now you're going to a situation where the expectations are way more realistic. This is going to be Auburn's third coaching hire since 2020. Gus left in 2020. They had Harsin for a year, and then obviously Hugh Freeze. This will be our third coach in 5 seasons. Crazy. Greatest Sunday I've had in a while. I mean, I don't know. It just was amazing. I loved every second of it. I love watching their fan base think that they're a desirable spot for college coaches, but see ya.
Is Hugh Freeze? Would we not even know his name if he didn't have that one recruiting class at back at Ole Miss? What is it, 2011, 2012, something like that? Where they brought in all those. It was like Robert and Kim, whatever that group was.
Yeah. No, the stripper class, when he brought in all the strippers?
Yeah. If he doesn't do that.
No, yeah, we would not know his name if it wasn't for that. We would not know his name if it wasn't for that. He's a horrible coach. He's
never won. He's never won.
You got to call.
Right? Like, I don't think Hugh Freeze has ever been a winner.
No. Chauncey said something.
Chauncey said to touch on Texas OU, Texas has a stronger strength of schedule and a stronger remaining schedule than OU and still rank lower somehow. I mean, I stand by what I said on that. I think Texas should be ranked higher. Yeah, no, so now Hugh Freeze is out, and there's another head coaching opening in SEC. That's 4 in SEC. What, 6 or 7 big ones nationally?
Yeah.
Which is wild. I guess we'll go ahead.
Who do we think's the best? Who do we think's the top 4 jobs? Right? Because I think the top 3, everybody's probably going to say LSU, Florida, and Penn State in some order. So who do we think's the 4th best job with the ones that are open?
I honestly think with all the outside noise coming in, LSU drops a little bit in desirable. Potential to be there, great. No, they're probably 3. They're 2 or 3. I don't think they're no longer 1.
Out of the 3. So you got the big 3. Who's the 4th one?
I'd almost say Arkansas, dude. I mean, you're SEC. You're the only school in that state. You're the only school in that whole state. Only the FBS school, I think. I'm pretty confident in that. I mean, they have Arkansas State, but Arkansas State's D2. So yeah, I mean, I would say Arkansas. And honestly, you're going to a fan base that they're so used to not being good that if you go in there and you go 7-5, they're gonna be like, wait a second, we're going to national championship in 3 years.
Yeah. Hey, Cole, before we keep going, close your camera and then open it back up because I think your audio is a little bit off. Let's see what Chauncey said real quick. Chauncey said, Hugh Freeze only has had 4 seasons out of 13 with 9+ wins.
That's what I'm saying, dude. He's not
Why is this? How is this guy head coach?
because he had one
I
fun year at Ole Miss. Like he's just.
I don't
I don't
get
know
it.
if when they hired him, Bo Wallace went psycho and was like, "If y'all want to hit y'all's wagon to this clown, go ahead. I did it, and it about ruined my life." And Auburn fans acted like Bo Wallace was the Antichrist. And then yesterday he was like, "I'm not even going to take a victory lap. I'm just going to sit here and allow y'all to deal with this." I tried to tell everybody, this guy is not a winner. Like he's been a scumbag everywhere he's been. Right? Like,
Yeah.
Pete, real quick. So I got a phone call. That's what happened. So
No,
now
yeah,
my
you're good.
my timer says like 2 minutes and 40 seconds. So it looks like my thing started over. I don't know if that
Yeah,
means anything.
you're good. I'll be able to fix it in the in
I just
post.
want to make sure we didn't continue on, and it'd be fucked up.
No, you're all good now. It might be a few minutes of everything off, and I'll figure out how to fix that. But the carousel is nuts. The carousel is even more nuts is because there's so limited amount of coaches to where they're
Yeah,
going to end up. I
yeah,
still don't believe. I still don't believe Kiffin goes anywhere. I think he's too comfortable at Ole Miss. I think if the outside noise didn't happen at LSU, it's more intriguing to him. I think since the outside noise came in, it makes that job look a little less appealing. Um, I could be wrong. I mean, I could be 100% wrong, but I think with all the outside noise, it's made the job look a little difficult to fill.
yeah.
And like I said, and I think me and Cole talked about it on the phone about it. I think Frank Wilson will be y'all's coach to end the year and possibly next year, depending on how he ends the year. Because honestly, I think y'all probably lose to Alabama, and that's a game we'll touch on. But I don't see y'all losing to OU just because it's 6-10 and OU still sucks. But I don't see that happening. And I think y'all have a smaller school out in between the two.
we have
But
Arkansas and
how do you feel about how do you feel about the outside noise? I know we've talked about it
um.
going on through our text and everything else. We've talked about it, but we haven't got you on camera actually touching on the whole coaching situation in Baton Rouge.
Look, I think last week was a complete mudslide, just shit show, just like it seemed like a firestorm. It's kind of calmed down. LSU is going to announce their new president tomorrow at like 9 o'clock, I believe, is when that happens. It's like before lunch tomorrow. LSU will have a president. I think some of that noise is going to calm down. And I know Landry came out and was like, "We're not doing $100 million deal." Verge Osbury came out and said that that's not true. He was told to get the best coach regardless of the money. I think some of that works itself out, right? Like I think it's easy for us to sit here and listen and go, well, LSU's not going to get a $100 million coach because the governor said no. But if they offer $100 million to someone, then obviously it's not true. I don't know. I don't think Frank Wilson gets the job unless he beats Alabama, right? Like I think if he doesn't beat Alabama, they're going to go thank you, and they're going to go we'd rather just have Frank on staff. I don't know what happens, right? Like the Lane thing feels too vocalized to be real. Then we talked about that when it first got open last week. Like this is probably going to be a name that isn't getting thrown around a ton. I don't have a. I mean, we threw around some names on the live, but like the Lane thing for me just feels simply like Lane is just working this into a mega pay raise at Ole Miss. He still hasn't signed his extension. I think he's going to wait until one of the big jobs gets taken, and then he's going to go back to Ole Miss. But no, I don't know if the shit show around it. I think it's calmed down now, and you're still a month out before you got to make a decision. I think one intriguing thing is LSU hasn't had one guy since Kelly got fired hit the portal or say he was hitting the portal, and they don't have a decommitment either. Yeah, now that could all change, but it's been over a week now, and you don't have a decommitment or a guy saying he's going to the portal, which is a real indictment on Brian Kelly. Like to me, that's the biggest indictment you can have is that nobody in the building wanted to leave. They were like, "Thank God that clown's out of here." But I don't know. There's gonna be a lot of shit show. I do know pretty confidently that they have reached out to Saban. I don't know if they've offered contracts. I do know they've talked to Saban. I think Cole had touched on that also in our text thread. But whether or not that happens is also like a super long shot. I think this thing comes down to if Saban wants to coach again, LSU will pay him whatever the number is. I think that ball's in Saban's court now, and I don't think Saban's the next coach. I also don't think it's Frank Wilson. Unless he beats Alabama, then the noise is going to get too loud and they're going to hire him. But we're going to touch on that game. I just don't think Frank Wilson's the next coach. But, I mean, we'll know more as soon as we get a
Yeah,
president, which
speaking on the recruits, one of y'all's top offensive tackles was at the Texas game, and he had a very good trip. So love to hear that. Might steal one from y'all. What do you think about the nonsense going on in Baton Rouge, Cole?
Yeah, I mean it's kind of a mess. I mean, I think it can get hairy, it can get a little sketchy anytime you start mixing politics. I mean, but hey, at the end of the day, it happened. It seems like it's quieted down now. So I mean, I'm kind of more a believer that they're going to hire from within. But we'll see. If they end up hiring somebody from outside, I won't be shocked. I mean, LSU has the resources and the backing to do a lot of things that we won't think of. So
Here's a name within that I'll ask both of y'all. What y'all think about him being the guy that they appoint as the head coach? Rob Blake Baker.
no.
So yeah, I think if they were going to if they're going to do Blake Baker, I think they would have made him interim. I think it kind of seems like that's not what they want to do. That's just kind of the feel that I got.
I'd agree there. I think if they thought Blake Baker was even an option, they'd have made him the interim to see how he would. It'd be like an on the job interview. I think him not getting the interim says he didn't know about that.
Got it. Chauncey just asked, does Dabo become a possibility?
No.
He's only had 10 home losses from 2000. He's only had 10 home losses from 2009 to 2024. But already 4 home losses this year.
No, and I want to touch on this just in general. I think one of the stupidest things LSU fans keep coming out and saying is LSU's got to have somebody with a resume. LSU's got to have an established coach. That's complete asinine jackassery. I don't know how else to put it. Because if we go through, let's just start naming teams in the country that are elite and tell me what kind of resume their head coach had before they got there. DeBoer's probably got the best one, right? And he was at Washington, and they lost in a national championship. Terrific. Sonny Dykes lost in a national championship. That don't mean dick to me. Dan Lanning never was a head coach before. Ryan Day never was a head coach before. Marcus Freeman never was a head coach before. Mike Elko, fat, was the coach at Duke. Like, I do this all day. Mario Cristobal had a decent resume. Miami's ass cheeks. They suck. They always clap. Like, dude, I'm sick and tired of this nonsense. I thought about this, and let's see if we can name names. I thought about this from when I was born to now. How many coaches were elite at the top end and then took another top end job and were elite? And I came up with 2 names. Nick Saban, the greatest to ever do it, and Urban Meyer. Well, only 2 I can think of that were elite at a high end and then moved to another high end school and stayed elite. Other than that, it's just a bunch of names that were like, yeah, I don't know. There were failed experiences elsewhere. There are young guys coming up. Like, this idea is idiotic. Now, with that said, I think Auburn would be really smart to hire James Franklin.
I'm still in shock of the Elko fat shot he took there. That shit was fucking
Poor Mike
great.
Elko.
That was great. Dude is doing the best job he's had at A&M in year 2, and fucking Buddha's like, Mike Elko, fat. Like, fucking great.
Dude, and A&M
love it.
Go, because we're going to clip it. A&M fans are going to be like, 49, 25, 49. You're like, cool, dude. And you got Brian Kelly out of town for me. I appreciate the favor. That's being a good neighbor. You're still ruining my property value, though. But I appreciate you this one time loaning sugar. Thank you, A&M.
Holy shit. Yeah, so that for will be the coaching carousel. Let's get into what we got next week. So Texas got a bye week, which Texas fucking needs because we got to get healthy. We got to get Taft on the field. I think we all agree that Taft not being on the defensive side of the field shows greatly in the secondary. So we got to get him healthy. We got to get we got to get Wingo healthy. Got to get the DBs healthy. But there's like a small game that's coming up. I don't know if y'all really into it or not. It's like 2 schools that want to be a rival. One of them thinks they're a rival. The other one doesn't. Like, I think it's Alabama LSU. How y'all feel about it?
Bama by 1 billion.
Hey, there is
You, are you
that interim there is that interim curse. Teams play better when they get an interim coach their first game
Yeah.
back.
Well,
We'll
let me
see.
let me just go ahead here because I mean, look, I really don't have a ton to say about it. Like I'm honest, like I'm being honest here. I said it in the group chat, and I'm saying it here. It's the next game on the schedule for us. I know for LSU it means a lot more. Brian Kelly got fired. The LSU is going to have more life this week than they have every week this year, except for week one probably. Um, I think they're going to come in fired up. I think, like Buddha said last week, we're going to get their best punch. Period. Um, I think it'll be a close game for probably the first half. I think we're good enough. We're going to pull away. I think the only caveat for me is what does LSU show offensively? New OC, obviously new head coach. Do they throw in some Van Buren stuff? Do they try to get a little fancy? I don't know. Maybe we'll see. One good thing for Alabama is that Kane Womack has shown that he can make adjustments on the fly. He did it against Vanderbilt this year. He did it against Georgia this year. Not against Georgia, excuse me. He did it against Tennessee, Vandy, Missouri, even South Carolina, really. I mean, he made adjustments as he needed to. I think it'll come down to if Bama comes out ready to play like they have every game this year except for Florida State, I think Bama walks away with it. I think we're a better team. I think we have better players. I know we're better coached. It's kind of where I'm at with it. Like, I know it's a hyped up game. I know Buddha's, it's his Super Bowl. He's going to say that on here probably.
yeah.
It kind of is what it is with that being, taken into consideration. So you go ahead, kind sir.
Yeah, look, I said this in a text, so like I don't want anybody like I don't shy away from this. This is absolutely my Super Bowl. This is absolutely LSU Super Bowl. Like I've suffered at the hands of Alabama pretty much my entire life. There was a period right when I was an adolescent, first getting into football, that Alabama was down and LSU had a nice run, and then Bama got back in the fold, and I've suffered at the hand. I'm 2-8. I'm 2-8 in my last 10. It's just been a lot of just debacles, a lot of complete shutouts. There's been multiple shutouts in my life. It is absolutely my Super Bowl. These wins mean they feel better than any other win on the schedule, right? I said this in 19. The Alabama win felt better in my heart than the national championship did when it happened. I had more pure joy after we beat Alabama. Now, do I think there's any logical reason I think LSU can win this game? No. I think Bama's better at pretty much every position. And I truly believe that. I think they're better pretty much across the board. I think LSU might have the edge in one spot, and I think LSU has the better pure corner. But I think defensive back room, Bama's better as a whole. I do think Mansour Delane is probably the best defensive player in this game. That's not a logical reason to pick LSU. With that said, I do think you get LSU's best punch. I think in a weird way, like I'm happier that we have Frank Wilson at the helm than Brian Kelly entering this game because I know LSU's going to play hard. Now, are they going to play hard for a quarter? Are they going to play hard for a half? Is this thing going to play hard for a full 4 quarters? I don't know that answer. I'd be remiss to say I think LSU's going to win the football game, but I do think it's going to be a fun quarter or half, if not the whole thing. I do think it's going to be a fun game, and I'm excited to see what LSU's got. But yeah, this game would mean everything to me if we won it. Now, I don't think I want Frank Wilson to be my coach long term, so there's a weird deal. But come 7:30 Saturday night, if this thing's like 10-10 going in the second quarter, I might be saying hire Frank Wilson as the athletic director and the head coach. I don't know where we're going to be at that point, but yeah, I'm excited. I think no logical reason LSU wins. Outside of DeBoer's, only time he's ever struggled at Alabama is to get as a double-digit favorite against an unranked team. It's the only time he's ever had some problems at Alabama. So, knock, knock.
Chauncey just said in the chat, since 2012, LSU's only won one time in Tuscaloosa. Why not now? Why not now? Here's my
Yeah,
thing. Here's my take on here.
there's one thing here we're forgetting is that Kalen DeBoer, I believe, is undefeated coming off of bye weeks. So let's go ahead and throw that in there, right now. Undefeated coming off of bye weeks. Undefeated in Tuscaloosa. Don't forget that either. So knock knock. Yeah, get out my fucking house. How about that one? We last year came to y'all's house. We went to Bryant Denny West last year and we spanked y'all around like a bunch of stepchildren. This year, y'all are gonna come to Tuscaloosa. We're gonna run y'all out the stadium. We'll call y'all's Uber back to Bryant-Denny West. Clean up the locker room when you're done. And I know Frank Wilson did his whole little like Pearl Harbor speech, right? Like, oh, when you hear the siren, we're being invaded. Well, brother, 2,500 people died in Pearl Harbor. So what? Your team's gonna know that they're being invaded by the Crimson Tide? They're just gonna all get exploded on? Like, come on, this is insane. What are we doing? Crazy, man.
But Noah,
Oh, man.
look, this is gonna sound insane, and every other fan base in America can't say this. I can. I'm pumped not to have Jalen Milroe. Thank God Jalen Milroe's not the quarterback of this Alabama team. Jalen Milroe's the best player to ever play football when he plays LSU. Thank God Jalen Milroe's not on this team. I take Ty Simpson any day of the fucking week over watching Jalen Milroe run for 972 yards against LSU on Saturday. Thank God Jalen Milroe is with the Seahawks. Thank God. That's all I got to say about that. And also with Pearl Harbor, we had some guys die, but who fucking won? We came out victorious. We fucking won.
So then we come from that 60-minute football game to a what? Year-long war? Like, this
I'm
is
not
insane.
making the comparison. I'm not making the comparison. My head coach made the comparison. You know, that's what my head coach did.
Like a dying poodle. Woo!
All right, as an outsider looking in, this is the way I see it. The only way I see LSU having an opportunity to win this game is for them to come up with some schemes for Van Buren to run the ball and have established some kind of running game with a quarterback. Because let's face it, Alabama's had issues with a running quarterback and a good running game. It showed up. It's when somebody can scramble around and make plays with their legs, they have issues with it. They've had it this year. The other thing is, you touched on it. Y'all have one of the best cornerbacks in the nation. Alabama hasn't really established a dominant running game as of yet.
Yeah,
Y'all can stop the running.
Who's going to cover? Who's going to cover? Take
Is
your
he going to
poison.
cover Bernard
Ryan
or Williams?
Or Brooks.
I'm on the outside looking in, saying, giving perspectives of how LSU might be able to pull some shit off. Do I think they're going to do it? Probably not. But outside looking in, there's a chance. Hey, no one gave Rocky a chance against Apollo, and fuck, guess what? In the rematch, that motherfucker won.
Yeah, this is more like Hezbollah versus Mike Tyson. Like, this is insane.
I will say the only thing that gives me remote confidence is the 21 LSU team that was pathetic. When Ed Ogeron was a lame duck coach, he had already been fired. They were like, you can just keep coaching if you want. That game got dicey in Tuscaloosa. That game got dicey that day. Like, that was the 21 game. It was tight. LSU had a chance at the end to win it or to tie it. Right now, I think there's a chance LSU comes out and looks terrific in the first quarter because I think they play like cover zero. They just do anything possible to try to get an edge because I don't think Frank Wilson's going to call a game soft. Now, I do think that the aggressive nature is going to start good for LSU, and I think it really could bite LSU. If Simpson's poised, it could really, and Simpson showed me nothing to say that he won't be nails when he needs to be. But I'll always give us a shot.
Hey, Chauncey with the chat, which is why I love we have him in here. That game ended 2014. So yeah, they were throwing punches. They were throwing punches. And like Buddha said, you got an interim coach. LSU has nothing to lose, so they're going to throw any and everything they got.
That was my entire take last was nothing's worse than a team that has nothing to lose. Like, come on now. Like,
well, I wanted to. I on the record, I think LSU loses this football game. Right? I think it ends up being a 17 or 21 point game. Like, right? Ultimately, I think Alabama pulls away and the thing's not close.
Stop your take. Stop your take right there. You're LSU diehard. You never say that shit. Cole just called you a coward on it. I'm not gonna call you a coward, but you fucking put your foot down and say, you know what? Fuck Bama. Frank Williams is gonna show Kalen DeBoer while the black hoodie don't mean shit. LSU's about to come in there and put their foot in their ass. Now, whether that happens or not,
doesn't wear the black hoodie. Now look,
let me ask you understand. He can't not wear it. He has to wear it. He doesn't have a choice.
Let's just say this. If LSU pulls this upset off, I think they beat Arkansas and they beat Western Kentucky. How weird would it be if LSU entered that OU game as like the 17th ranked team of the country with an interim coach? Be like, y'all fired a coach, y'all are fucking Y'all are fucking 8-3. Fucking pretty good.
This is the
Also,
ultimate. This is the ultimate like what the fuck moment in college football where you get where shit like this happens, where it's a close game, weird shit happens, and
I
what
do
the
think
fuck?
it's got
Like,
it's got a little bit of the Florida Georgia vibe, where you look at LSU's roster and you go, "That's not a bad roster." There's NFL dudes on that roster. Like it is a weird deal where you're gonna get LSU's gonna come out punching. I did want to touch on this. I listened to Frank Wilson at his press conference today, and Frank Wilson, they basically asked him a question of like, how does Blake Baker feel about this? How's he dealing with it? And he was like, I asked Blake what he needs from us, and he was like, Blake said that he would like us to be more physical in practice and actual hitting and tackling. He's like, we haven't been doing that, so we're doing that this week. We're actually gonna get guys a full go and some physicality, which kind of pissed me off about Brian Kelly all over again. What are you doing? We're not tackling dudes in practice. We're not popping pads. What are we doing?
yeah,
Like
that's
that's
fucking
crazy.
crazy.
So I do think LSU plays a little bit more physical just because they're going to attempt to be because Brian Kelly's not on the sidelines.
I want to
Sure,
I want to throw this in there too though. Like the difference between the Florida Georgia game and this one is that it was at Florida. This is at Bama. If this game was in Baton Rouge, I think LSU's got just as good a shot as anybody at beating Bama.
no, the Florida game is neutral site. It's
It's
neutral site.
That's right. Well, it was in Jacksonville. My bad. My bad. Go ahead.
Chauncey just chimed in on the chat and he said, "Hey, LSU could be one of these 9-3 teams at the end of the year that you're scratching your head going, what the fuck are we gonna do with them?" Like,
Could you imagine?
it's gonna take a miracle. It would take a miracle for it to happen, but hey, they could end it. They could end at being. If you got a handful of 9-3 teams at the end of the year, what the fuck do you do as a committee?
100% right. You're 100% right. And also, the tooth fairy might show up to my house tonight. You never know.
Well, good. You got to lose.
I might.
I'm gonna laugh when we end it. When we end this, if Connor runs up to Cole and he's like, "Dad, I lost a tooth," he's gonna be like, "Fuck."
I'll be going straight.
I will say this:
straight to the
my early prediction is I think LSU runs the ball 35 times.
Well, that's not going to be great.
They just haven't.
They've established a better running game.
They're going to hand the ball off a lot.
But
I think if you're running the ball heavy, I think Cam Womack's going to shut it down.
But they've run the ball better than Bama has this year so far.
Yeah, but they're not running against Alabama's offense. They're running against Alabama.
I think you're not going to see a pure. Yeah, you're not going to see a pure running game though. I think you're going to see Van Buren mixes. I think there should be a lot of packages with Van Buren in there.
Yeah, look, I think LSU's going to move the ball early. I think they're going to do some Van Buren stuff. I think they're going to do a lot of stuff that they haven't done all year. Which, unfortunately for Kane Womack, you just got to guess at what they're going to do. You have no way of knowing. This is a new OC, new head coach, coming off a bye week. You had 2 weeks to put together a game plan. So, they're going to do stuff that you haven't seen. But, again, I like our guys in a situation like that to make the adjustments that we need to make.
So 2 weeks ago, before the Vanderbilt game, LSU gave run game responsibilities completely over to Alex Atkins. He didn't have play calling ability, but he handled the run game and how that he was handling that whole aspect of it. Since that game, LSU running backs are averaging right around 5 yards a carry. So LSU running backs have been noteworthy because he's now the play caller. So I do think they're going to run the ball. Frank Wilson is a running backs coach, and Alex Atkins was the run game coordinator. I think they're going to run the ball a lot. Whether or not that's successful or not, TBD. But I do think they're going to run it 30, 35 times against Alabama, which they just have not done this year. Right? And again, you brought up who's the better running team. I think they're ranked 114th and 122nd. So it ain't like either LSU or Alabama is dominating on the ground. The difference is Nussmeier's been pathetic and Simpson's been a Heisman candidate.
Well, and it doesn't matter who runs the ball. It doesn't matter who runs the ball better. It's who can stop who running the ball. You know what I'm saying? Bama's run offense has nothing unless you run the ball against Bama's defense.
Yeah. To that point, Chauncey did put in the chat, Bama's ranked 83rd in running defense on yards allowed. They allow 4.3 yards a carry. So I mean that's not a bad stat to average 4.3 yards a carry. I'll take that. if you can do it consistently, but you got to do it consistently. But I don't know. That's all I got. Y'all got anything else?
Yeah,
No, Bama
Matt
by a
Rule
billion.
Yeah, Nebraska's 0-29 against top 25 teams. Matt Rule's 2-24 in his career as a head coach against top 25 teams, and the highest ranked team he's ever beat was ranked 22nd. So Matt
Chauncey
Rule,
had a correction for us. Chauncey had a correction for us. So LSU is 87th in yards per carry, and Bama's 103
hey now,
in yards per carry. Here,
hey now.
In yards per carry, but that's fine.
he just just gave us the stats
No,
in the chat.
no,
So we might see a run power heavy game coming. Look out for someone. I didn't hear you. What'd you say?
I said Tyson's going to throw for 300. Running game doesn't matter.
What's the bet? We got to get a bet. I know y'all not putting eyebrows on it. That's my bet. Y'all don't want to do it. Y'all not putting slap bets on it because there's a state line. You got to put at least whiskey or a 6-pack on it. It's a rivalry game. Y'all playing each other.
Loser has to go to Pearl Harbor and make the siren noise that Frank Dumdick did at press conference.
No, I got it. Loser has to do the next podcast in a fake Cajun accent the entire podcast.
Well, that's not fair. Buddha already has one of those.
Yeah, I'm prepared. That's a difference between me and y'all.
Buddha's like,
I'm prepared.
You what?
Oh, Chauncey said in a sailor outfit.
To honor Pearl Harbor.
In middle school, we had to recite the Gettysburg Address when we got detention or whatever.
Oh my god!
I hope all the players have a lot of fun.
All right, y'all have to come up with a bet before kickoff. We'll figure that out when it gets here. I think that's all we got for y'all tonight. Any closing words, fellas?
Roll Tide, Bama by a billion, Auburn's burning.
I didn't hear what you said, Buddha, but all right. The fucking siren. All right, we'll see y'all on the live Friday and throughout the games on Saturday. Y'all have a good one. Hook 'em.
Roll Tide.
First 12 ounces. First 12 ounces, yeah. First 12 ounces. First 12 ounces, yeah. Y'all better listen up. This sports talking tough. So if you got a cup, go on and raise it up. I'll raise one with you as we talk about the sports. It's raining stats and rumors. Let us give you the report. This is First 12 ounces. First 12 ounces, yeah. First 12 ounces.